Right, guys. Right, guys, what's going on? So, today I'm going to be recording the first leg video for the channel. Got pre-workout meal going on right now. I'm quite tired. I've not been sleeping well this last week, just staying up too late and then waking up early. So hopefully gonna get a manage on that. But for now, you know the drill: chicken and rice pre-workout meal. Gonna be sinking this and then heading to Physique today for legs. The plan for today is to do adductors, seated ham, leg extensions, leg press, walking lunges, standing ham, lying hamstrings, and then calves. And yeah, this is the leg day for a men's physique competitor, so let's get stuck in. Right, so just finished having lunch, gonna head to the gym now. Just finished watching Georgie Boy's leg video, well, halfway through. I'll finish the rest when I get back. But yeah, so let's get a move on to the gym. Not sure if that's too dark or not. So just got to the car park, finished my pre. So today I actually tried a new pre-workout. So I got the JP 2.0 pump. Got the lemon sherbet flavour. It was alright, drinkable. I'd definitely say it's definitely got the sherbet, the sherbet taste, but maybe not so much the citrusy sweetness I normally like. So yeah, on the drive here I was banging out the Real Bodybuilding podcast. So if you haven't listened to that and you're interested in learning more about bodybuilding and bodybuilders in general and just having a laugh, it's actually a really, really good podcast. This is what I've been listening to when I do my journeys from here to back home, just because they're nice, because they're about 2 hours, which means I'll get about 4 drives out of an episode, which is fucking ideal. But yeah, anyway, back to sink legs. I'm gonna be honest, today is really not the day. I don't know why. I'm just, my motivation today is fucking down here, but gonna get it done. I may not enjoy the session, but I sure as hell I'm not gonna skip it. I'm gonna try and make the most of it, try and get my fucking head in the game, and yeah, so let's see what happens. Right, guys, welcome to this leg day walkthrough. So kind of the emphasis with my leg days is I'm trying to make them, I started on the quad biceps at the start of my off season, and now I'm starting to make them more hamstring focused, as I realized hamstrings are one of my weak points, and with me wanting to do classic in the near future, obviously this is something I have to be proactive on. So today we start off with adductors, just because that's how I start all my leg days. I think that's how a lot of people should start their leg days. It's a great way to, one, get a blood in the legs, and a great way also to get your leg press primed. Obviously when you also do your leg extension and other bits and bobs before that. So today for our sets and reps, we did a top set of 6 to 10 on the adductors, and then a back off of 10 to 15. Cueing the knees, bringing it together. And I also find I have a slight body rock forward, also just helps with that contraction, that feel. And one thing you might notice me do is I'm pushing myself up a little bit on the seat. That literally always to do is to get my knee more in line or below my hips, as that is where the adductor lines up better for a contraction and stretch. So this is something you should try. You can either push yourself up, or if you like to pull yourself in, get the yoga mat and fold it up and then put it underneath you as a little stool, and that should boost you up and get that alignment correct. So then moving on to seated hamstring curls. Now, a problem I have with my seated hamstring curls are my glutes. They start to seize up and cramp when I go heavy on seated hamstring curls, which is really fucking annoying. As I said at the start, my hamstrings are something I'm trying to grow, and progressive overload is obviously required. And that obviously means I require a certain amount of load to really actually put my hamstrings under stress and make them obviously want to adapt and grow. So the way I've set up my new rep range for seated hamstring is I'll do a set of 15 to 30, like a straight set of just 15 to 30, and then I follow that by a muscle round of 8 reps and then 10 seconds off. And I'll do how I progress this is, once I get 5 rounds with that weight, I'll then up it up by a pin. And that's why I've been finding has been working quite nicely. And it's really, really good for getting blood into the hamstrings and getting them pre-fatigued before obviously we move on to other hamstring movements later down the line. But this is something I've definitely found helps. So if you struggle with me with like a certain exercise, you find something cramps, or the heavier you go, you just can't stay locked in, then definitely something I recommend is just trying to find ways around it by maybe switching an intensity method instead of doing straight sets. But yeah, so cueing on these, I'm going to try and drive my heels. Oi! Oi! Shush! Sorry about that. So yeah, you're going to try and cue bringing my heels to my arse. Another thing is I'm going to adduct my toes in on the way up, and I'm going to abduct them on the way out, on the way up. And I just find that it also just really helps with the contraction and then feeling that stretch on the way up on the hamstrings as well. So just another little thing you can put into the movement just to add a little bit more feel to it, which is obviously what we want to do, because as bodybuilders we don't want to just to shift the weight, we want to feel the weight, and we want to feel it in a good way. So that's just maybe something you can also take home and try. So moving on from that, we're going on to leg extensions. I think one of the biggest common problems or misconceptions with leg extensions is that people, when they sit on the chair, they'll put their knees really, really wide, and obviously at that point, the more you bring your knee away from your body, the less aligned they are with your hips, and as a result, potentially the quads potentially not being as aligned as they could be. So what you'll see here is when I'm setting up, I'm like fiddling around trying to get basically that alignment perfect with my knees as straight as they can be. Obviously, you don't want them like touching, you still want a bit of space, but yeah, just trying to get them lined up nice and good. And what I also do is I bring my seat back quite far, because I like to have the top of my quads elongated. Just that means on the way down I can feel that full stretch throughout my quads. Is that something you don't really get as much on any other exercise like a leg press or a lunge. So yeah, that's something I like to do. And also when I'm setting up my arm placement or hand placement, I want to make sure all the slack is out my arms. As I find if you're trying to put yourself into the bench and there's slack, it's not as effective, as I do feel like there's the ability to come up once you get to a certain weight. So that's just something to be wary of. So another thing is, on the way down, I'm going to be rolling my knees in ever so slightly, just so they are dead straight. And then as I am contracting and shortening up, I'm rolling my knees slightly out, as I just feel that does give me that extra squeeze I'm looking for. And you'll notice on all my exercises, like my top set will always be a 3-second negative, or I'll be a 2 to 3 second negative, and then my back off will be a much more consistent tempo of, I try and match my eccentric to concentric ratio. So like 1 second down, 1 second up, vice versa, until it gets to the point, obviously, as you get more fatigued, it will start to drop off. But obviously that is to be expected as you start to die. I like getting a pump of my quads before I go on to doing leg press. Just kind of getting the nitty gritty done. And as I just watched AJ Morris' video, and as he says, treat the leg extension like an exercise, not fluff work. So prioritize it. All right, moving on to the hammer strength leg press. So a few points on here. I like to have the seat all the way back, just because I find that then allows me to have more range of motion for my legs. I'm 6'1" with very, 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 very long legs. So I struggle sometimes with creating like enough depth and space for my legs to come back. So anywhere I can create more range of motion, I will. Obviously there's this whole controversy of like how deep should you go on leg press, and I think it's just, there's two main points. That is, one is how comfortable do you feel going, like, you know, with reasonable load, how comfortable do you go, like how comfortable do you feel going deep, and also are you actually getting anything from it. So it's that combination of going deep enough that you're actually getting something from it, but not going so deep that one, maybe your hips and your lower back are coming off the pad, or your knees coming past your ears. So yeah, so making sure you find that good range of motion, which I've now kind of figured out on this leg press, because there's this one point I see on the leg press, and as long as I'm coming past that, like this little bolt on the leg press, as long as I'm coming past that, I know my depth is acceptable for me personally. You could argue go deeper, but at the same time, I find the moment that I start going any deeper than that, my bum and my lower back start coming off the bench. So It's a nice happy medium. Another thing you can do as well is adjust your foot placement. We want our feet as low on the foot, like the foot pad as possible if we want them to be more quad dominant, which I do. I'm not too worried about my glutes. My glutes are actually quite good, considering all things. I think that's just from all the deadlift work I've been doing over the years of my training. So yeah, find that happy medium of foot placement and depth, and then take it to failure. Obviously, with this being my main quad compound, I want to hammer this home and make the set as lethal to my human being as possible. So I'm going to try and keep those eccentrics controlled, and then really try and take it to failure, because leg press or any kind of big leg exercise, especially for newbies, is definitely something they struggle to take to failure, because you almost like you're fighting your brain's natural instinct to want to save itself because you're struggling, and potentially if you fuck up, you're squashed. So trying to you'll see me here, I try and just psych myself out and just really get the fucking zone, and then really just fucking take it there and push my limits. So yes, that kind of wraps up leg press. So third and last quad movement is going to be the walking lunges. This is something I learned from George Osborne. Fuck you, George, show me these because they fucking kill. So on this particular day, I was still having my lower back play up from my session with Josh Blue on the Sunday. I pulled a ridiculous PR, which I didn't even think was possible. I pulled 205 off the floor with stiff legs, and it left my lower back in fucking agony. So I had to heavily drop the weight on these because the lower back was absolutely fucking killing me. And especially after doing leg press, it kind of sort of aggravated it a little bit. So doing this, I had to be very careful. I had to choose an appropriate weight. So yeah, and basically the goal of these is just try and keep moving. Basically the way I'll do it is I'll go to one length to the gym, get my breath back, and then come back again. The goal is for me, in order to earn the progression, is I need to go there and back without stopping. In terms of I'd go there, take my break, and then walk back without having to stop, which you might see me any moment now. I'll have to stop and gain my breath back, but that's just because my lower back was fucking killing me. But yeah, really good shot, really good exercise, really happy with it, and something I generally want to keep going for a while. I'll probably take this to again about summer, and then I think I'm going to put pendulum in for these, just so I've got a couple of different quad exercises that I can play around with. But yeah, these have been a joy and a pain at the same time, so definitely something I would recommend if you're trying to add a bit of variation into your leg days, and a bit of cardio as well. They fucking kill. So next, moving on to the standing hamstring curl, the Adductors one, which is a really fucking nice piece of kit. So obviously I only did one set on lunges, which is what I'll do a weighted set, and then a body weight set as well. And then these I'll do 2 sets on, a set of 10 to 15 and a set of 15 to 20. These are really nice, especially after you've done lunges. I just feel like it's really nice just to fully strain out that leg, and I find the pump after I get these is fucking immense. So yeah, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, heel to bum, bada bing, bada boom. Focus on that lengthening contraction, because this is a really good machine, obviously, where you can focus fully on that stretch. And then after that, I'm following it by the lying hamstring curl. So before I was doing 1 set on this, but as I said, now I'm trying to make them more hamstring focused. I have increased the sets to 2. So in total, I do 5 working sets on quads, and I do 6 working sets on hamstrings. Just because I'm just trying to bring up my hamstrings right now. So I'll do a set of 6 to 10 on these, and then a set of 10 to 15 after that. I find after doing all the exercises before this, my hamstrings and my legs in general are just fried. So I just try and really rinse that pump here. Trying to keep my hips as much on the pad as possible, not shooting my bum up. But obviously, as you get closer to failure, it does become a problem. So yeah, really good exercise. Really happy with that. And then after that, I did calves, but as you can see, the gym was getting busier and busier, and where I do calves is the linear. I'll put a picture up now. It's like a linear leg press, but there's no place for my camera, and I'm worried my camera's going to get kicked, 2 you can't even see me, and 3 which is so fucking busy. But I'll do 3 sets of 10 to 15, and what I'll do is I'll choose a weight which I can get 15 for, and try and match 15, then try and match 15 again. Obviously each time probably dropping off a rep or 2, and then once I get basically all 3 sets for 15, increase the weight. Again, calf is one of those things I struggle with. When I do 2-footed calves, my left knee hyperextends more than my right, so which means I find I struggle to get an equal stretch on both feet when I'm doing it at the same time, which is also one of the reasons why I also struggle to go heavy on them, just because my left knee is like this, so obviously you can imagine then the stretch obviously is much more apparent on the left leg than it is on the right. But what can you do? There's nothing much I can do. But just crack on and just find ways around it. If you find you have a problem, there's always going to be a way around it. But yeah, so that concludes the leg day. Here's me just playing around with some posing, you know. The legs are much better than what they used to be. I'll probably have to flash up some pictures now for what they used to look like and some comparisons. But yeah, legs is something that's definitely I've struggled with, being a taller person, and also just I've never been a bulky person at all in my life. I've always been an ectomorph per se, growing up, and you can see that in my genetics. Like my dad, tall guy, long limbs, basketball build, volleyball build. My granddad, long distance runner. So it hasn't exactly left me in good stead for their genetics, but we fucking make do with what we have. I'm very happy with my quads. I definitely say they've come a long way, and so have my adductors, but the hamstrings, they need to come up. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next clip. Right, so that concludes the end of this leg day. So finished up with obviously lying hams, and then calves, which did not film because the gym got so packed. It got 6 o'clock, so then I had my post-workout meal, drove back, had one evening recline, and now I'm about to have my last meal of the day, which is another chicken rice. So a little update. So I've now booked my first holiday of the summer, which I'm gassed for. So I'll be deemed the All-Stars Barcelona weekender. So I'll be sick, and that's going to be basically like a 3-day, well, it'll be a 5-day trip, but a 3-day like rave on the beach, in the pool, the boat parties. It's going to be fucking sick. So going to be going to that. So the mini cuts before that's also just to do a clean up, obviously, because it'll be about 8 months into an off season, so probably got time for a clean up anyway. So probably gonna do like a 6 to 8 week little mini cut for that. So should be good, and then it means we've got like a little mini series again. So that should be pretty sick. Something to give me consistent content with. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. So like, share with a fellow cunt, it's anything. Subscribe, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.